Blast me to Duel Academy. It's time for a Yu-Gi-Oh! Midterm Paradox deck overview. Today, the Paradox Brothers. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Midterm Paradox deck overviews. This is probably the last, but I might do a combo deck of the Void and Heroes. But this is the final deck in the box that you get pre-built, and this is of course the Paradox Brothers. So in order to stop themselves being expelled, Jade and Osiris had to duel these guys in a tag duel, and it was very Paradox Brothery. It is a very cheaty duel. Yeah, it's not the best deck by far for any of the speed duels decks, but yeah, we'll get into that as we go through. So before we get into anything, don't forget to, of course, like the video if you're enjoying the content. And of course, why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as it helps get the channel noticed and helps us grow. Also, if you want to support the channel in any such way, you can do so for free by dropping a comment down below. What was your favourite sort of boss duel in the anime? I think for me, it wasn't really a boss duel, but it was a sort of a secret boss. It's the Marek versus Bakura duel. It's nice seeing two very gothic sort of decks going against each other. Marek's Torture deck and Bakura's Occult deck is a very nice, very fun duel. I kind of like that one, even though it is sort of a not unofficial duel, but it's one of my favourites in Duelist Kingdom. But yeah, here we go then with the Gate Guardian. So, oh, I forgot. Don't forget, you can support the channel by using the Mad Merlin's Patreon, which you can support from as little as £3 a month. And there are going to be various rewards for everyone. So yeah. Alright, let's get into the Gate Guardian deck. So here we have the Paradox Brothers deck, and it is pretty much what they used in the anime, really. So we'll look at their basic skill, and this is Behold Gate Guardian. So activate this skill during your main phase, shuffle your entire hand into deck, and add one level 11 monster from your deck to your hand. And if you do, you can special summon up to 2 level 7 monsters with different attributes from your deck and or graveyard, but their attack and defense becomes 0. Also, their effects are negated. While you control Gate Guardian, it has the additional following effect. While this face-up card is face-up on the field, when this card is targeted for an attack, you can change the attacking monster's attack to 0 till the damage step. So yeah, without this skill, the deck wouldn't run very well. It gives you the chance to guarantee yourself Gate Guardian, plus it gives it the anime effect that allows you to do the Squalled Barricade from Suijin to reduce an opponent's monster's attack to 0. Moving into the monsters, we have, of course, straight off the bat, our ace monster, and it is Gate Guardian. So a level 10, I believe? Level 11, sorry. I just read it on the card there. Level 11. So yeah, level 11 warrior monster cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand by attributing Sanga, Thunder, Kazujin, and Suijin. So one of the most hardest to summon monsters probably in the game, and probably one of the weirdest stats. So you have 3750 for its attack and 3400 for its defense. If you wanted to, you could build a Void deck using this guy. He is a warrior, so you could use him and UFO Void, and you'd end up with a 4950 attack monster. But it's kind of an insane combo, but doable. Moving on, we have the good old Labyrinth Wall, so just a level 5 normal monster, 0 attack, and a mighty 3000 defense. So yeah, used by the Paradox Brothers to be a nigh impenetrable wall for your opponent to get around. There are a few cards in here that don't really fit the Paradox Brothers, but they were just thrown in as they were kind of around at the same sort of time the Paradox Brothers came out. So we have Crass Clown, a level 4 Fiend, 1350 and 1400. If this defense position monster is changed to attack position, target a monster your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Pretty cool if you can play yourself defensively and switch to offensive on next turn. You can return one of your opponent's monsters, which is very handy. We have Dream Clown, so if this attack position monster is changed to face a defense position monster, target a monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So another pretty good clown card, but it doesn't really fit the Paradox theme as such, but it's still pretty good. A level 3 warrior with 1200 attack, 900 defense. One of the Paradox Brothers' favorite cards, Jirai Gumo. So level 4, 2200 attack and 100 defense. When this card declares an attack, toss a coin and call it. If you call it wrong, you lose half your life points. So a very double-edged sword card. Not everyone's favourite, as there's quite a few people who don't really like big ugly spiders, and Jiraigumo is a big ugly spider. Probably one of the biggest and ugliest I've seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Card history. But he's a pretty good card if you can guarantee yourself calling the coin toss right. You'll save your life points and you'll still have a 2200 beat stick you can play with. Next up then we have the ace of the Labyrinth, Shadow Ghoul. So level 5 zombie, gains 100 attack for each card in the graveyard, starts at 1600 and has a defense of 1300. Also used by Rebecca during the end of Duelist Kingdom into Battle City arc, where they sort of had some random duels and of course dungeon dice monsters. Pretty cool monster. It gains more power but the more of your cards that are destroyed. And Rebecca ran it in a pretty cool deck where she had like Sangan and Witch of Black Forest and stuff that allowed her to bring out this card into her hand quite quickly. Next up, we have the key components for Gate Guardian itself. So Sanga of the Thunder, a level 7 Thunder and Effect monster. So once while this card is face up on the field, during damage calculation in your opponent's turn, if this card is being attacked, you can target the attacking monster and make the attack target 0 during damage calculation only. So yeah, it's a once while face up effect, not the best of effects. He is still pretty beat sticky with 2600 attack, 2200 defense though, and would make for a good ace in a Thunder deck. Next up we have Kazijin of the Wind, his unofficial name. And he's another level 7, 2400 attack, 2200 defense. He's a spellcaster, and he has the same effect as Sanga. So yeah, once while it's face up on the field, during damage calculation, negate or reduce the attack of an opponent's monster to 0. So yeah, not the biggest of the cards to write home about. And finally, Suijin of the Water, the final part of the Gate Guardian trio. And again, the same effect. She is an Aqua, has 2500 attack and 2400 defense. So they all have roughly the same sort of stats. There's usually like 100 in it. So yeah, Kazijin and Sanga both have the same defense, and Sanga's better by 200 points on attack. But Suijin is better than Kazijin by 100 points attack, 200 points defense. So yeah, definitely not the best cards, but they were fun back in the day. Another non-Paradox card is Stone Statue of the Aztecs. This guy is actually used by the first rare hunter that Yugi encounters, who uses an Exodia cheat deck. But I think there's going to be an actual deck for him in the Return to Battle, not Return to Battle City, but the Streets of Battle City box, which is coming out later in the year. So definitely going to get that one, and I'm still going to try and pick up the Shadow Duelist box as well for the GX. But this is a pretty cool level 4 rock monster, 300 attack, 2000 defense, and you double any damage your opponent takes when they attack this card. So not when it attacks, but when they attack it and hit the high defense there, it doubles damage. Very handy. Like I said, not really a Paradox card, but one that could be worth doubling up on for this deck if you want to run defensive. Back to the Clown cards, we have Ryukishin Clown, part of the Ryukishin family, which is more often used by Kaiba. So it's 800 attack, 500 defense. When this card is summoned, target a face-up monster on the field and change its battle position. So you can use it to target one of your other clowns and get them to change and trigger their effects. But really, it's just kind of a weird gimmicky monster. Moving on to the integral parts of the deck, the only way you can really get your high monsters out with low tribute, and that is via the double tribute monsters. So first off we have Kaiser Seahorse, and this guy has a special place in my heart. He was originally released in the starter deck Kaiba Evolution way back in about 2005, which was a slightly Battle City-fied version of the Kaiba deck. It included a lot of new cards, including this one and Kaiba's Paladin White Dragon Ritual monster. And what this guy does is, when you tribute a light monster, this card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon. So yeah, using this on the Blue Eyes White Dragon, or on, in this case, Sanga the Thunder, allows you to get a 1 monster tribute for a 2 tribute monster. So it's pretty good at stats wise, 1700 attack and 1650 defense. Don't know why they didn't just make it 1717, really. It's just kind of weird. But yeah, really cool card. Has been seen in quite a few character decks, especially those that run high level light monsters. Keeping up the theme, we have Unshaven Angler. So this does the same sort of thing as Kaiser Seahorse, but for water monsters. And has 1500 attack, 1600 defense. So you can easily get this out with the effect of Mother Grizzly, who, when it's destroyed, gets to summon a water monster 1500 attack or less from your deck. And then hopefully if it's straight to your turn next, you can use it to bring out Kazajin. So yeah, not too bad. And finally we have Whirlwind Prodigy. So again, it's the same, but for wind type monsters, and has 1500 to 1600, the same as Unshaven Angler. So level 4 wind, and yeah, counts as 2 tributes for a wind level 7, or well, high level wind monster. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of these cards came out in the same set, which I think was something of Destruction, I think. I can't remember, it was a long time. One of the early GX era sets, Soul of the Duelist onwards, pretty much. Yeah, there's a lot of these cards that came out at the same sort of time. Moving on to the deck's spells and traps, there's only a few spells and literally 2 traps. So, Soul Exchange, yeah, it's going to be integral for the deck. Target 1 monster you control this turn. If you tribute a monster, also 1 monster your opponent controls. This turn, if you tribute a monster, you may tribute that card as if you controlled it, but you can't conduct your battle phase this turn. So yeah, used by both the Paradox brothers and also very famously by Kaiba, allowing you to tribute your opponent's monsters to bring out your big bads for a little bit of an easy summoning. Does have the caveat that you can't attack this turn, but it's not really going to be much of a bother. We have Fairy Meteor Crush, of course. This was used by, I believe, the Paradox brothers, I think, in their duel, and it does a rather nasty little number on Jaden and Cyrus. So it's an equipment spell. If the equipped monster attacks a defense position monster, you inflict piercing damage. So yeah, I think they equipped it to Gate Guardian itself and allowed them to do some heavy damage when they put the 2 on a rather defensive. But eventually they turned it around, of course. Next up, we have Tribute Doll. So tribute one monster, special summon a level 7 monster from your hand that can be normal summoned or set, but it cannot attack this turn. So this card I believe they used twice, once to bring out Kazujin and once to bring out Suijin, I think, and then they just had Sanga of the Thunder somehow brought out by the effects of another card. If you had the other two out, you can bring out the third. But yeah, very handy card for the deck, well worth doubling up on this one at least. And also this one, so double summon, you can do 2 normal summons or sets this turn, not just one. Very handy card in pretty much any deck really. Giving yourself 2 summons a turn is integral, especially to this deck where there's a lot of tributes needing to happen. But yeah, very fun. And finally our 2 traps, none of which I don't think were really specific to the Paradox Brothers. But we have Judgment of Anubis. When your opponent activates a spell card that would destroy a spell or trap on the field, discard a card to negate the activation and destroy it. Then you can destroy one face-up monster your opponent controls and inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack on the field. So very handy because you can destroy a monster with an equipment spell boosting its attack, and they take the damage that was equal to what the total was on the field, not in the graveyard. Very powerful and dangerous card. I think this is more used by Odeon while he is posing as Marek. And I think later Marek might have used it. I can't remember. I need to rewatch Battle City at some point. And, well, the second half of Battle City. I've rewatched the first half of Battle City loads of times. But I definitely need to get hold of the Yu-Gi-Oh! DVDs at some point to catch up on the episodes. And finally, again, another card. We have Labyrinth of Nightmare. Once per turn during the end phase, change the battle positions of all face-up monsters each player controls, or the turn player controls, so to say. So this goes well with the clown cards in the deck, but isn't really much of a Paradox Brothers card. I think either Bakura or Shizu may have used this during the Battle City era. Other than that, I don't think I remember it being used much during GX anyway, during the anime. But yeah, still a pretty good card that helps some of the deck's combos go off. And that brings us to the end of the deck. So to summarize, it's pretty much a card-for-card copy of the anime deck. Sadly, it is reliant on the skill and the 2 bonus skills in order to make the most out of the Gate Guardian's components. So strengths. It's great. It has loads of ways that you can double up the tributing effects and bring out your big monsters quickly. Those 2 tribute monsters are very good, as are some of the spells that allow you for better tributes. And yeah, just no real way to keep your monsters around for too long, so you could really do some more defensive abilities, maybe even some revival cards to bring your cards back from the graveyard if you get destroyed or sent from the hand. The main weakness is the fact it is a Gate Guardian deck, and Gate Guardian decks have never worked in the history of the game. They are too reliant on having those high-level cards out on the field and tributing them for Gate Guardian. And in Speed Duels format, with a low-size deck limit, you're not going to get a lot of the cards needed into this deck to run it perfectly. Maybe if you went to the full 30-card maximum limit, then yeah, it might work, but even then it's going to be really, really reliant mainly on just those high-level component monsters doing all the work for you. So, modifications. Let's take a look first at the 2 extra skills that you get in the box. So we have Beware the Brothers Paradox. So apply the following skills. So you can normal summon level 7 monsters with 1 less tribute. You can tribute summon 1 level 7 face up in addition to your normal summon or set. Your opponent takes no effect damage, and you can only attack with one monster each turn, but that monster can make a second attack on the monster during each battle phase. So another way to help you get your components out, and also to make extra attacks with that caveat of only being able to attack with one monster. The cool downside, though, is your opponent won't take effect damage, but there isn't really a lot of effect damage effects in the deck, so could not have been there. But I suppose if you wanted to work around the limiting attack, you could run some effect damage cards in the deck, but I'd probably not run this skill in that case. And finally, we have Elements of Thunder, Water, and Wind. So activate the skill while your life points are 1,000 or less. You can normal summon Suijin, Kazujin, or Sanga without tributes this turn, or if you control Suijin, Kazujin, and Sanga, you can apply the second skill instead. So send as many cards on the field as possible to the graveyard, then special summon Gate Guardian from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So, another cheat way to pretty much get your Gate Guardian out guaranteed. And yeah, it's very gimmicky like the rest of the deck is, really. Kind of a pity we don't have the skill that they have on Speed Duels, where you start at only 1,000 life points. You only have one card in your hand at the start, and that card is Gate Guardian, and you automatically start with Kazujin, Suijin, and Sanga on the field. Yeah, it's a crazy skill, but gives you a guaranteed Gate Guardian. But there we have it, that is it. Definitely the weakest deck in the box, and probably in Speed Duels so far. There are certainly better, weaker decks in the Battle City box. But yeah, it's definitely not going to see much in the way of play. Gate Guardian decks have never been popular, and even when they were popular, they were very far and few between, because it's just a series of high cost to bring out a high cost, low reward monster. But there we have it. That is the possibly final deck review for Midterm Paradox. Like I said, I might go and do a combo deck of Jaden and Cyrus, so we can look more at the effects that would combo well together if you so chose to do the tag duel sort of game. But outside of using two different skills and then using the two decks identical from two boxes, you can't really do a tag team duel very well in Duel Links at the moment. Speed Duels even, sorry. So, there we have it. Let me know what you think of this deck review in the comment section down below. Have you ever done a Gate Guardian deck yourself? I tried a few times, but just didn't get very far with it. So, there we have it. Thank you all then for watching. Don't forget, of course, to check all the links in the description below. Like, share, and comment and subscribe. And I will see you next time for more mad content. Thank you and goodbye.